Hello everybody, this is Miss Gustafson, and for this lesson we're going to be looking at how to do our ugly sweater Zentangles on Sketchpad. So the first thing that we're going to need to do is create a new document. If you open up Sketchpad, your last assignment will be showing up, or it could be blank. Mine has my last assignment, so I'm going to go ahead and start by clicking my plus sign. Then I'm going to click blank, and then you can click create. Or if you click on the document you want enough, it will pop up. I'm going to start by going to Google and actually typing in sweater outlines to find an outline of a sweater that I like. You can do a different sweater, you can do a hoodie, whatever you want. You can do a cardigan. I believe I like this image right here. Again, you want to find a sweater that has no details on it yet. I am going to save this photo to my desktop, whereas on a Chromebook, you're going to be saving this to your Google Drive. I'm going to go back to Sketchpad, click on the clip art smiley face, and load my own image. This is where it's going to look a little different. I can grab mine right off my desktop, whereas you're going to be finding yours on your Google Drive. Now I'm going to be showing how you can stretch this by clicking on it and grabbing those arrows. I'm straightening out the sweater. I'm going to zoom out so I can really stretch that sweater to fit the whole canvas of online. Once you have that done, you're ready for the next step, but I want to show us the layer feature. If you click on layers and then click on the eyeball, it's going to hide that layer. So that's our first layer that we're working with. Every time we use our mouse or add another brush stroke, it's going to create its own layer, but we found a trick which you'll later see on how to flatten these layers. So right here, I'm just playing with the different colors that you can do with your brush. If you click on colors, you can do a solid color, you can do a linear, gradient, or pattern. There's a whole bunch of different options that you can choose with, and when you draw with these brushes, it will come out with that pattern. So with this brush stroke, we just notice how it's all going in red and those different patterns. Or you can always change it up to something else. For this demo, I am going to stick with just a solid black color. I'm going to begin tracing the silhouette of the sweater. So I'm going to just go on in and zoom right in so I can get those details. Now I'm not going to trace every single thing on this sweater. Those small lines around the necks and the sleeve, I'm going to change my brush. So I'm going nice and slow and just tracing along the edge of that sweater. I am going to fast forward the process of me tracing, but I did take my time, and you can see every time I did create a new line, it created a new layer. Now we see all these layers to the right that I open up just to show you all those different layers to create this one sweater. If you go all the way down to the bottom to the clip art, I'm turning off that image behind, on and off with that eyeball. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to flatten these images so it's only just my drawing. So I'm going to delete the clip art, and just by clicking on it and clicking the button delete, I will delete it. The next step to flattening this image is going to be zooming out. And then I'm going to use the selection tool in the top left corner, and I'm going to highlight everything. And then have these three dots that pop up, and then click flatten. And what that's going to do is going to take all those layers and make one single layer, which now we see is that clip art. You don't have to flatten the layers if you don't mind having all those layers, but by flattening these layers, it makes it easier for turning off the background image of my drawing, and then I can use this process later on. Now for Zentangling, we did look at a great PowerPoint, and it is in our direction sheet, so if we need to refer to it, we have it there. I am going to keep working with black for my project. I'm going to use a paintbrush tool in Sketchpad. However, you can choose whatever tools and colors you want to use. I am also going to think about what I want to put on my ugly sweater. It does not have to be holiday related. It could be something that you like. I personally love to go hiking or drink coffee, so I think I'm going to do hiking on my sweater. And to get some ideas, I'm just typing in hiking clip art on Google, and I really do love the silhouette of the simple hiker with a mountain, so I'm going to use this image and I'm going to draw it myself on my sweater. I could do the same process I just did to draw the sweater to draw that image as well, but I'm going to freehand it. So I am speeding up this process, so I'm trying to remember what the image looked like, but then I figured I'd go back and forth through the image, or even better, split my screen so I could see the way I was drawing. Now, I didn't like the first arm I drew, and instead of using the eraser tool, I went through layers and deleted it. And then I tried again. Next up is adding the Zentangles into my silhouette I just drew. Now, if we look through the PowerPoint, there are some great examples that we did view as a class, but just a reminder that go through and look at some of these. No, you do not need to copy them, but they can give you inspiration. Like these are some student examples of past assignments of them Zentangling in the background of their image and also in their silhouettes as well. Use this PowerPoint to help give you inspiration for your design. I really like the checkered board pattern, so I'm going to start with that. I'm going to zoom in and start in the head of my hiker. And I'm going to use that paintbrush tool and just make a checkered board and then fill it in. When you fill in, there's a few different ways that you can fill in an area like this. I can go down to the fill, click pixel fill, and then change it to the color I want. Again, I'm still working with black, so I'm going to keep it black. And then get the color I want, and then select the tool, make sure it's on pixel fill, and then I'm going to turn the tolerance just up a little bit, and then go ahead and click in that section to fill in. If you want to turn the tolerance just up a little bit more, oh, way too far, so we do not want 100, so we're going to turn that down just a little bit. And this is if you have an enclosed shape. If you try clicking something and it's not closed off, it will turn the whole canvas black, but then all you need to do is click the undo button. I am going to fast forward my next few steps of just Zentangling within the silhouette that I drew. I am changing the lines, but then going back and keeping them the same width. But that's something you can think about within your artwork, is also changing the width of the line that you're working with to help create an illusion of depth or playing with the value scale. Now I also did go in and fill in sections of this silhouette as well to make sure that there's a nice balance of black and white. Now as I've been drawing, I've been creating so many different layers. I personally don't like having so many layers open on this program, so I'm going to show you how to flatten some of these layers. So as you can see, there is a lot of layers on here. If I click the three dots and then select all, and then click the three dots again, I can flatten this down so it is one layer so that I don't have so many layers in my work. I do this as I keep going with my work so that the work that I like, I can keep it, and then I do a small section. If I don't like that work, I can delete those layers, but it's easier to find what layers I would like to keep and delete. Right now, I only have one solid layer now. Now, if you're going to be working on this in multiple days, you want to make sure that you can double check your saving. So one way to see is if you click on the files of open, you can see that my file has been saving there. But sometimes Sketchpad does not work for some people this awesome way, so we're going to back it up a second way, and you're going to take a screenshot of your work. Yes, the screenshot buttons are a little bit different on a Chromebook versus a Mac. Then you're going to make a Google Doc. You're going to put that screenshot you just took in a Google Doc so that it saves on your Google Drive and we have a copy. Now, we know that we do not submit artwork in a Google Doc, but for the purpose of saving your work for this assignment, you can keep it here. So say you come back in a day or two and you go to Sketchpad and your work isn't there anymore. What you can do is take another screenshot right here of this Google Doc, which I'm doing so right now, and then go to Sketchpad and upload this screenshot and work right on top of your actual image. This is another way to back up your drawing just to make sure it does not accidentally get deleted. However, the one thing that you'll notice about this clip art is now that that white area around your sweater, you cannot, if you put a layer behind that, you're not going to be able to see it because it is a solid white color. But we can always draw around the sweater. So the same idea of adding in that fill on how we did with the black in the head, I'm going to do the same thing by going on the outside of my sweater with the gray color so that I can create a solid one color, and I'm filling that in. So then I can use that same fill tool on a solid color and I can create that gradient right there. Now I did play around with flattening the sections so that it would be one layer. Then after I do my background, I'm going to go right into working on the actual Zentangles in my ugly sweater. So I did do some sections on the mountains, playing with different lines. And as I was going, if I liked what I would see, I would open up my layers and flatten them all so I didn't have too many layers to work with. Again, you're doing your own creative twist on your ugly sweater. It does not have to be a holiday sweater. It could be something that you enjoy to do. It could be a favorite food. It could be a favorite game. For mine, I like hiking. Now, a tip to use, do not use the eraser tool because what happens is it's going to erase everything, even your background. Try using the opposite color to fix those errors. I would use white to go in and erase a tool instead of using the actual eraser tool, or going back into layers and deleting the layer that you do not want anymore. Be sure to play with the different quality of thicknesses of lines, the different shapes, different patterns, filling in. You want a nice balance of black and white throughout your pattern. You can also combine layers and copy and paste certain shapes like I'm doing right here with these swirls. I copied the same swirl I made and then would highlight those layers and go ahead and copy them to the other sleeve. So all of these different functions of the copy and paste and merging layers can be used throughout the whole project. Again, if you need any assistance, please let us know. We are here to help you. Can't wait to see what your ugly sweaters come out to be. Just a reminder that when you are all done, there's 2 different ways to save this. You can take a screenshot, or there is a link in the bio on the additional way of saving your work and uploading it to Google Classroom. Can't wait to see what your ugly sweaters come out. They're not going to be ugly. They're going to be super unique and creative. Can't wait to see your final product.